So my hope for the beginning of this video was to say that I didn't like this movie, but that I loved it. Maybe I had too high of expectations. Suicide Squad is directed by David Ayer, a wonderful director. He's made some really gritty, down-to-earth movies, and it stars an all-star cast led by Will Smith. You got Margot Robbie in there, Jared Leto, and a lot of great people in this thing. And I had super high expectations going into this movie. Let me start right there because I think a lot of people are expecting a lot out of this movie, just like I was, because the trailers were so awesome. Maybe coming off of Batman and Superman, they have a little bit lowered expectations because not everybody loved that movie like I did. But the trailers have been so good for this movie, and it looks so fun, and it looks so different. And I think a lot of people were like me going into this thing expecting so much. And like I said, maybe that's a bad thing because this movie is fun and really awesome at some points, but at other points, I think it's just kind of okay. And that's so disappointing for me to say because I expected so much out of it. It looks so awesome and I wanted to love it. And I liked the movie, but I just didn't love it the way that I thought I would. Here's the problem with it, is it has an amazing opening. It starts and it introduces all the characters and it has this pace and this tone that it's perfect. I love the beginning. The beginning of this movie is a 5 out of 5. I was like, oh my God, this movie is unbelievably great. And then it just doesn't ever live up to that start of the movie. As the movie progresses and then we are introduced to the villain and then all the things that go into that, I feel like the movie just steadily declines. And that's so just heartbreaking to see because it had such a great opening and I was so excited for it. And all that it had to do was give us a reason for this team to come together. And it gives us a reason, but it's so confusing what the villain is and then what the motive is and like what really is they're trying to do. But you get past that and you're like, okay, whatever, let's just get the team together. And they do that and it gets right back onto the pace and you're having fun, you're getting into it. And then they start doing the action, which should be awesome, but it's kind of just meaningless. Like you don't really feel for so much for it. But then it has some other moments where it moves along and it's like, oh man, this is what I'm looking for, some awesome character moments where they really go together great. All the characters have great chemistry. And then it gets back to the villain and then things are kind of confusing. But then you get some other moments and that's how the movie is. It kind of goes up and down and up and down. And the whole movie, I was just wanting it to stay with the tone that it had in the beginning and stay with how awesome it was. But it kept being uneven and it had some weird editing and some weird choices of the way that they told the story and the way that it just unraveled. And I feel like it could have easily have just been a simpler story with a less complex villain. But I will say is that I like that they went for this crazy villain because the villain in this thing is honestly the most like comic book villain thing that I've ever seen in any movie ever. Like this is the most comic book movie I've ever seen. And that's saying a lot because all the Marvel movies, all the DC movies, we've seen some crazy things in them. And this movie really takes the cake. It takes it to different levels that we've never seen, especially for a DC movie. And it's really awesome that they went for it and had the guts to, go for something completely new. And in a lot of ways, I felt like it really paid off. The humor in this really was awesome. I laughed so much throughout of it. The standout is by far Will Smith. He blew me away. I mean, Will Smith is one of the greatest actors of all time, in my opinion. I absolutely love the guy, and I thought he killed this movie. He was so great in his role. He brought all the emotion and all the awesome action that I expected out of him. He was my favorite part of this movie. Behind that, you got Margot Robbie. She did a great job as Harley Quinn, this character that has become a more popular character through the comic books. And I expected her to be great, and she was great as this character, but I just didn't quite love her as much as I wanted to, although she was great and super fun to watch. Then we get to the Joker. Now, this was probably my most anticipated part about this movie, was seeing the Joker, because the Joker is like the best villain of all time. And you know, Heath Ledger set such a high bar that I didn't expect him to come close to Heath Ledger. I didn't want him to be even like Heath Ledger, you know, because that was the best portrayal of the Joker that I think we'll ever get. I wanted to see a different Joker, a different take on him, and see what Jared Leto will do. And I think Jared Leto is a fantastic actor. And I thought he did a good job as the role, as the Joker. But he's a completely different Joker than we've ever seen. So you have to kind of go in knowing that this is a completely different kind of Joker, and he is nothing like we've ever seen. And he was super fun to watch the scenes that he was in. But I feel like I kind of wish that he was not in the movie as much as he was. He wasn't in the movie all that much, but when he kind of popped up, he kept popping up, I kind of felt taken out of the movie because they were on this mission and going after the villain. I wish they would have just stayed more focused on that and kind of, instead of just throwing him in there, I felt like he was just kind of forced in. And although it was fun to see him and he was always like the bright spot of those scenes, I kind of wish that he wasn't in it as much, and they kind of held off a little bit until he's in a Batman movie, which I really want to see him in a Batman standalone movie so that I could really see him interact with Batman, because that's what the Joker and Batman are all about, is them going against each other. So I'm excited to see Jared Leto go forward with this character, and I liked him in this movie, but he kind of took away from it more than he added to it for me. The soundtrack that they did with the movie, they threw a lot of songs that I loved every time a song came on and really added to the scene for me. Like I said, all the jokes really went well with the movie, and the way that it ends, I'm excited to see more from it. I'll still say that I like the movie. I'm going to go 3 out of 5 for Suicide Squad. I still think it's worth checking out. I think a lot of people will have a lot of fun watching this movie. I had fun watching it, and I'm excited to see it again, because I think on a second viewing, knowing what to expect, I think I might like it better, and I might get more enjoyment out of it. But on this first viewing, I'm kind of disappointed. But I am excited to see it again. I'm excited to see more from these characters in this universe. And I thought that the characters were so much better than the movie that they ended up being in. But I'm excited to see more. I hope you guys check it out. Please let me know what you thought. And I mean, yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this and you want to see more reviews from a guy like me, Tom Waterloo, then please like and share this video. Leave a comment down below. And most importantly, subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.